So we're back out here in the Hunter Classic today, and we're at least kind of back on the hunt for a 200 whitetail. I just happened to look and the recurve competition's running right now, and I thought it might be fun to compete in that. So I went to Timbergold Trails earlier for about an hour and a half, and after all that, we were able to bring down a 201 mule deer, which is decent and might be enough to get us top 3 in the comp, but I'm really not super confident with that. So we're out here on Loggers Point. That's going to give us the opportunity to hunt both mule deer and whitetail, and we'll see what we can get. We'll see if we can maybe find our way into the top 3. Now that is the sound I've been waiting to hear. I didn't expect it to come over 30 minutes in, and it looks like we almost walked up on the buck that we've been tracking. He is an 85 to 100 estimate, so there's definitely a decent chance he could be a good size. But we're not really in the best of positions here, so we'll try to crawl up, maybe back to that high point there. I'm not even sure we'll make it that far. He was pretty close, but hopefully we can get to where we can at least get eyes on him. Doesn't look all that special through the grass. That was kind of what I was afraid of when he did grunt so close. It seemed unlikely that a really good size one would let us get that close without spooking, so I guess the good news is, since he's not that big, he didn't spook off and have us track him even longer. So it's been pretty slow so far as bucks. There's been plenty of does, but maybe things will start to pick up now that we've actually taken one down. And my plan was to pretty much work our way through the middle of the map, kind of zigzagging, because whitetail's what I want to focus on, so something like that is what I want to do. And I saw as we were harvesting that's got us in second place currently, the 201 mule deer and just a 104 whitetail. I think the comp did just start maybe less than a day ago, so that kind of makes sense. But if we could get a good sized whitetail for the moment anyway, we could have a pretty solid placement. Well, this is kind of unfortunate. We are starting to get into the bucks a little more, because we have 2 different ones coming in here to the tower, but they're basically the exact same size and quite average, so we're going to try to get them taken out. And then I think we might kind of change up our plan a little bit. So, that guy turned right as we shot. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate, but it's not going to send that guy running. So, that's kind of the direction I wanted to move in anyway. And that'll be fine. I think we just got body though, so might take a bit for him to go down. And hopefully at least we can do better on this one, because don't want to be spending a bunch of time tracking 2 different whitetail. He's actually going to stop for us. That'll be a little bit better. So part of the plan, at least, is to take a shot at this bobcat over here. He is a male. He looks pretty big, actually. I haven't spotted him yet. Both are max estimates, and I only had the call from him, so nice of him to actually walk out there and kind of sit in the open. We'll see if we can actually get him. That'll do just fine. And there were actually 2 others. They were both females, just over on that side. But my plan kind of is to cut off a bit of what we were gonna walk and fast travel a little north of here. And taking a shot from there, since we're gonna fast travel anyway, might even push some stuff in the direction that we're gonna go. So, got our 123 whitetail. Actually, that did improve our score. I want to fast travel to here. So anything like on this side might have just kind of fled in that direction. So that's going to get us more into mule deer territory. But mule deer are important for this comp. They're obviously the ones that can score higher, so having a really big mule deer is quite important. And so far whitetail hunting has been a little subpar, so I want to give that a shot and see maybe if anything's hanging out up north. And actually the lake's just a little bit south of where we're going right here. Can definitely have whitetail, so could be worth going and checking that area for sure. And I want to see what this bobcat is. It's been a while since I've shot one that had like a head on it that big. Like even from here, can tell he's got just a good sized skull. And they are scored by their skull, so I like the look of that. We'll see what we got here. Weight is only 19.6. He's 8.9, so nothing huge. But I'm hoping that gunshot could actually be a little bit useful for us. I do want to go and find that other buck, so gotta get on his trail. He ran somewhere over in this direction, and the amount of time that it took to call the other one in, then get the bobcat, I'm guessing he'll be down quite soon. It it's not always 100% accurate, like where the arrow is showing, but it looks like we must have been pretty close to getting him in the brain. It says skull, so that probably was the case. 104 for that guy. I think that's the same score as our first one, actually. And we kind of ended up at the end of the area that I had mentioned. And I think that might be deer tracks, so real quick before we actually fast travel, we'll just take a look and see what this is. It's probably a whitetail doe, or a very small whitetail buck. There's been no shortage of whitetail does in the area, and it is a little buck, so we'll go ahead and make our fast travel, and hopefully things will heat up a little bit up in this area. That's not quite what I had in mind when I mentioned things hopefully heating up, but at least it's another buck, and at least it's a whitetail since I did want to focus on that. The one thing I don't quite understand is where are all the mule deer? Because we are yet to see a mule deer buck. There are does all around here, and that didn't spook them. I kind of wanted it to. I think... Alright, they won't spook for a second when we get out. We're gonna just run forward and hope that they all spook back behind us, essentially. Just don't want anything going this way, because that's the way that we want to go. But another just completely average whitetail buck, and a not so great shot, a little bit of luck getting both spines and the liver there. 105. Guess we're sort of moving in the right direction since the last one. But yeah, not a single mule deer buck track anywhere around here, so I don't even know where they're hiding. Well, right on cue, we have our first mule deer buck of the hunt, and just on par, he is very much just average size, so we'll try to just get him taken out before he spooks, and we can kind of continue on our way. But at least we found a mule deer buck, because I was starting to wonder just the way this hunt's gone. They have not been cooperating too much, but hopefully, as things kind of continue to unfold, things will be a little bit better for us. There's another buck grunting, another mule deer as well, straight down the road. I don't know where this guy snuck in from, but he's definitely better than the others that are coming in. There's 3 over here, though, and this guy's not bad either, but that's got me thinking that maybe there is a 5th one that's just hidden somewhere. We saw earlier the recurve is quite quiet. I don't know that we're going to get away with dropping him and not spooking the others, and he's also sniffing the air, so he kind of knows we're here. And probably gonna be a long shot. I did just see that other one. Man, I have no idea what it was though. Let's hope. Yeah, that's definitely lung blood. So at least he's not gonna be far. I'm gonna say, from looking at the other ones and spotting them, I think the heaviest was like 110 kg. This is a new trail up to 95, so I think we spotted that. I just want to know the weight, at least, of that one that spooked. Oh, yeah, that would be it. Max weight estimate. Just about makes sense. I actually thought I might have seen good-sized antlers. It's so hard to say with that tiny glimpse, but if we track the buck that we shot, it'll give him time to hopefully calm down a little, and then hopefully we can go and find him, and at least things are getting a little interesting now. I've made a point of just crouching all the way over here, even though he probably was down within a minute and a half. I figure that'll just give more time for the other one to calm down, so 185 for the mule deer. Definitely not improving what we had before, but only 2 hours in, we finally got our first decent kill, but hopefully we have something better waiting for us at the end of this trail. What are the odds that we would run into actually a really big whitetail tracking this mule deer? That was 170 to 195. He's definitely a high rack. I couldn't tell much, but I think he could have been even an 8x8. Kind of lost track of him. He's going up through right there. I think he actually could be, so not a clue where the mule deer is. I actually just kind of lost his tracks and happened to see some movement, and of all the ways to find a decent buck, this is not the one that I would have predicted. He seems pretty narrow, and I don't know about the tine length. It's kind of hard to tell on the higher racks because the main beams kind of going up so high gives the kind of illusion that the tines are taller than they are sometimes. But he's pretty broadside. That's another buck grunting. Dropped him. It's another new trail. I mean, I guess it's a mule deer. I'm not going to say that I definitely identified a track from all 5 of the ones in the last herd, so if they've kind of grouped back up, the one that we're tracking could be with that. And then what do we have for this guy? Because all of a sudden, we're actually in a position where we probably want to be hunting mule deer. Good solid weight on him, double lunged him, and 190.5. I haven't shot a 190 in this game in years. I really didn't think that's what was walking in. Okay, we're currently in first, and we have a really, really good shot at winning this comp with a whitetail like that. I am so stoked that I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. A high rack 190. That's so cool. I've wanted a 190 in our Trophy Lodge, and I just said this recently. We haven't gotten to make a lot of Trophy Lodge additions lately, and suddenly we're doing it almost every video. For what we're working with, I think this is about as good as we can do. I wanted to do like a deer hunter pose or something like holding the antler, but his hitbox is just kind of pushing us back every time, and we just have this really small patch of sun to work with. So we'll accept that, we'll taxonomize that, and there are mule deer just chilling here, one of which I think might be the one that we were tracking. I'm really not sure because we got off the trail. Unfortunately, that was a little off to the side. So is this going to be a rediscovered? It is. We'll have to see if all of our tracks disappeared, but I think that could very well be the one that we were actually tracking that led us to that whitetail. Let's see if those actually go way off our hunter mates. I think that was the one. So at this point, I'm not really sure what to do. I guess we could look for mule deer for a little bit longer. We can probably fast travel again. I think we'll just go in this area. This is the last place that we shot a really big one on loggers. So we might as well at least give it a look. Can't really hurt at this point after what was a really slow hunt turned into a really good one. So go figure, about 30 minutes of hunting around has yielded one very unimpressive whitetail buck. But it's kind of fitting. The way this hunt started to end with a buck of that caliber pretty much just makes sense, but we spent that half hour pretty much because I wanted to have one more fast travel to go to a lodge and take a look at that 190 whitetail. I want to actually go back through my personal best for every season and figure out how long it's been, because I'm thinking minimum probably 3 years since I've had a 190. It could even be more, so we gotta wait just a couple of seconds so we can fast travel, but I can't wait to see that guy in the lodge. Now, I did kind of wonder if this would happen. He's more of like the normal wide frame instead of the high rack like we shot, and that'll happen with the trophy lodges, and sometimes when we enter here he will be the high rack variant, so eventually we'll get to see it properly like what we shot, but I guess the lodges just don't save what like frame they are, so that happens. But I like that a lot, just seeing that 190 up there. And we've made a lot of trophy lodge additions lately. We have the 190 whitetail, which we've been waiting on, the bighorn, the ibex, and of course the puma back here have all been pretty recent additions, but that is easily my favorite. And like I said, that puts us in a fantastic position for the recurve comp. So we'll be doing some mule deer hunting here in the near future to try to secure that #1 position, because it's not too often that a 190 whitetail shows up during that comp. But anyway, I think that is going to do it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.